Are the 49ers at this current moment lowballing Brock Purdy?
Nah, it's not a low ball. Like, if just put myself in John Lynch's shoes as general manager, I may go up to 47. That's my ceiling. And this is what happens with these negotiations. The agent of Brock Purdy, whomever he is, if Brock Purdy doesn't, quote unquote, break the bank, it's going to be hard for him moving forward to get those type of clients. You go recruit a kid out of college, and the next agent going to say, you see the deal he got for Brock Purdy? Why would you want to sign with him? And so that's the problem. The agent knows. Brock Purdy knows. But the agent wants to continue to run his business the right way and get clients. And so if you were the Niners when the best players were hurt, the Debos, the Kittles, the McCaffreys, the Trent Williams, obviously Ayuk tearing his knee, well, what'd they do this year? What'd they do?
Right.
And so when you don't have great players around you, can you carry us? They didn't make the playoffs. You can't carry it. We didn't even get into the playoffs. And so for me, I'm giving him $47 million a year maximum.
So, man, that's tough. If he don't take the 47, you still need a quarterback, is what I'm saying. He got the leverage.
No,
because they
I'm
got
franchising him next year for less.
Yeah, he got 1 more year on his contract, but I think it's a little low ball. A little bit. Not by much, though. But then when you look at it, when you're saying, well, hey, Josh Allen's making 43, Mahomes is making 45, and then you go on a list and say, oh, well, Tua, he's making 53. So I think you got to meet somewhere in the middle with him.
I also think you have to consider where the 49ers are right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they're full rebuild, but they're changing the things up, right? And the question is, are we going to build around Brock Purdy, and then what are we going to have available to us to be able to get all the other pieces that we need? It's not like they're ready-made at this point. And just because all of these other quarterbacks have gotten $55 million or in the $50 million range, well, look at the quarterbacks and look at what their teams have done. That hasn't necessarily been a winning formula. So for me, the 49ers also have all the leverage. He's still under contract for another year.
Yeah, right.
At worst case, you don't get a deal done, you get another look-see, you can franchise tag him after that, or you get him at a number that makes sense for all of the other work that you have to do. They're just setting the market at 45. Because to your point, like, okay, if we're starting at 45, we ain't getting to 60. Like, that's out the window, right?
We're not getting to 50 when we start at 45.
Very possible. I would do one of two things. I would either let it ride with this contract, or it would be an incentive-laden contract that if you prove to me that you can do all the things I need you to do, then I'm good. I'm good with paying you. I'm not convinced Brock Purdy's that guy.
Well, what is it that you want him to do other than what he's already done?
I want him to do more than he did this past year when he didn't have all that talent around him.
Yeah, but he still had a solid year. On top of that, though, Rick, it's almost impossible to lead a team as great as Joe Burrow has been. He couldn't lead his team because of the defense, because they were missing T. Higgins at time. You can't put it all on Brock Purdy in these situations. Now, you talk about $47 million. It's a lot of money, right? I wouldn't go over and above $50 million. So if you want to play with 45 to 48.5 to 49, 47, that's not really, it's never been really, the number on the average has never been really one of my things. My thing is structure, present value, and how much damn money are you giving me in the first 3 years of a 5-year deal? What's that number look
probably
like?
All the money you're going to see.
It could be. But quarterbacks usually, they usually get to the end of deals and redo them and all those things. But the first 3 years, what are you giving me? What are these guys that Paul talked about at the top of the market? See, when you start looking at Josh Allen only making 43, Brandon Beam and the Buffalo Bills are right now sitting and having conversations about restructuring that deal in Buffalo to try to get him to where he needs to be.
And why?
Because he's the quarterback and he leads them and he does all the right things.
He's underpaid.
It's because
he is underpaid, too.
Because of what he's done, because of where he took them.
He has never taken them to a Super Bowl. Right. Brock Purdy has taken them to the Super Bowl, but it very well could have taken them to 2 Super Bowls if he doesn't get an elbow. He doesn't hurt his elbow in Philly at the beginning of the game. They could have been on the road for 2 Super Bowls.
But I think the perception of it is Josh Allen is taking his team to wherever.
Yes, but that's
whereas Brock Purdy is being taken along.
Okay, but we wouldn't have this same...
Not perception, that's reality.
We wouldn't have this same perception of him, non-reality, Rick, if Kyle Shanahan was his coach as an offensive mind that has had great success with other quarterbacks. Instead, we ding him because of that, and we shouldn't. We shouldn't look at him and go, well, you're Mr. Irrelevant. You just fell in their lap. We shouldn't do that because it's not fair to him. It's not fair to him at all. He throws people open, okay? He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the tallest, the biggest, but he's very nimble. He's shown us in the past that he can put the ball on the ground.
Brock
He can
Purdy
get
is
out
good.
of the way.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
The market says he's a $50 million quarterback. That's what it says on an average.
Yes.
But I don't care about the average. You know it. I know it, TJ. That average can be $75 million.
And it's all the last 2 years.
It's all the last 2 years. What am I getting in the first 3?
Here's a question I have for you. If the 49ers let him go, is somebody else paying him $50 million?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The Jets will do it. The Giants will do it. The Raiders will do it. Cleveland will do it.
You just named 4 franchises that I would not want.
But that's not what you. But that's not what you just asked.
Okay,
me. You said very astutely.
There's 4 franchises that would make a mistake and pay him that money. That to me doesn't mean the 49ers are wrong in trying to sign him to what they want to sign him to.
It's only the starting number. Have you ever taken the first deal?
You said it's not getting to 50, and you said you wouldn't take it to 50.
I wouldn't. I don't know at the end of the day what John Lynch would do.
I trust your football acumen.
But I wouldn't know, Rick. I just would keep him right there at 49.999.
And why?
Because I need some money to sign other players.
Okay, and
I can't give it all to you.
And why do you need that money?
Because we losing Debo.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ayuk is coming back healthy.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on with Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
I can't figure it out with Greenlaw. What's his situation?
Yep.
I still got to sign Ufunga. I still got to figure out Ward. It's a lot that you got to do. If I give it all to one person, I'm going to struggle moving forward. I need to sign my rookies. So all of those are negotiation tactics.
But you need that because you need talent around him.
Every quarterback needs talent.
But it's to varying degrees. You can't tell me that there aren't quarterbacks that make the talent around them better, that make average receivers better.
There's only 5.
Okay, that's fine.
The big 5.
That's fine. But those 5, we're not putting them in that category. So why are we going to pay him like a top 5 at this point if he's not that?
That's what the market is.
The market
quarterback is the only position in the National Football League. It's baffling. I'm next. I deserve to be the highest paid. It's the only position. The only position when a quarterback comes up, you start to say,
but you're not jumping. But
why isn't he getting this money?
But he's not jumping. And every organization is different. Some organizations like to pay you with no problem. The Miami Dolphins, they don't have a problem with paying people. Mr. Ross, he has no issue with paying people at all. Cincinnati Bengals, they're an organization that has a problem paying people. They just do. Bill Belichick, when he was running the New England Patriots, had a problem paying people. They don't have a problem paying people now. Okay? That's just so certain organizations.
I get that.
The Dallas Cowboys, they'll pay you. It'll take a minute, but they're going to give you that Brinks truck 1,000%. 1,000% for sure. So Brock Purdy still has a year left on his deal. And he could be franchise tag next season. So, Paul, do you think that the 49ers get a deal done this offseason? Or should they kind of like roll it into the summer, make him mad?
No, I think they get it done now because for most cases of what we've seen this past year with certain players that when teams have not paid the player with 1 year left on their deal and allow him to go out there and play, it's going to cost them more next summer. It's simply going to cost them more this summer because now they're going to be stuck like, hey, there's nobody in free agency. There's nobody in the draft. There's nobody else there. And they're going to force their hand with Purdy again. And they're going to come back to the table, and the number's going to go from 45 to 55 next year. So it's best they get a number they're both comfortable at right now because there's some teams right now I guarantee will take Purdy right now. And you'll be up against a bidding war next summer that you don't want to go up against.
Well, they'll tag him. They'll tag him next summer.
If he proves he's worth it.
Yeah, they're not going to play that game. That's why they offered him $45 million.
If you guys were Brock Purdy right now, would you bet on yourself?
No.
Okay.
Dang.
No, I'm not betting on myself. And here's why I'm not betting on myself. I made $6 million so far, maybe.
Yeah.
Huh?
Maybe.
Less than that.
Well, I'm counting off the field appearances.
okay,
I'm
off the
counting
field.
all that
Yes,
sort of
yes,
stuff.
yes.
So I made bonus. I'm just
regular
saying.
team.
Yeah. So maybe a little Toyota truck hookup.
Yeah.
So I'm making $6 million. Cut that in half. I live in California. I'm $3 million. I got to live. But I don't have any money.
Sure.
They know that.
Well, but here's the other thing.
And I'm not betting on myself when I got 100 and something. Forget the average. I'm talking about real money. 3 years of real money. I got $125 million that's staring me right in the face, and I've made zero.
And your agent gonna try to talk you out of it.
And I'm happy. I'm happy being at the 49ers. And you know what they're going to say?
So,
you know what they're going to say? Is we really gave you an opportunity and a chance to show what you can do us a good.
So don't you think that the 49ers have the leverage, knowing all that, knowing that that's probably
It's not really leverage.
So why not just franchise him then?
They can't. Next year to be $41 million.
I'll probably let him play it out, then franchise him, then franchise him again.
You can do that, but you also run the risk of playing games with a dude and having a guy that's your quarterback unhappy. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to have an unhappy person in the locker room. You just don't. You don't want
Irrelevant as a starting quarterback.
He's not Mr. Irrelevant anymore. He's a quarterback that's gone to 2 NFC Championship games, Rick, and gone to a Super Bowl.
If he was all that, then we wouldn't be starting with an offer of $45 million.
You start with that offer to get to wherever the numbers go.
Even going from 45 to 47 still doesn't put him in the rank of what you're saying his accomplishments are. They're paying him for what he is going to do, not what he has done.
No, they're paying him for a little bit of both.
And they are in a rebuilding stage at this point.
I don't know that they're in a rebuilding stage.
Well, replenishing stage, whatever it is. We don't have any guarantee that the 49ers are going to be as good as they've been the last few years, or the expectations should be where they've been, right?
Speaking of that, like, when you say that, to me, it's greater later. I would try to pay him now because it's only going to go up. But when you say, you look at the other teams in the NFC, as we stand right now, are they better than Eagles? No.
Okay.
Are they better than Lions? No.
Yep.
Are they better than the Commanders?
Yep.
No.
No.
Are they better than the Rams?
Maybe.
No.
They can be.
I don't believe so. To me, where we sit right now, they may be the 5th best team in the NFC, where we are right now. And that's because...
Is that better or worse for Brock Purdy?
If he's a baller, it's better because then he can prove, I got this. I can carry the load.
Right.
But if you
he's
don't,
not?
what's going to happen with Trent Williams? He missed 7 games last year. He didn't play down the stretch of the end of the season. Kittle missed some games. McCaffrey missed 13 games. You relying on these dudes. And so if you don't have these guys and these teams are better, like the Commanders is going to get better and better and better and better.
I ain't rolling the dice.
Why are you cheesing over here?
Because I ain't rolling the dice. I'm just listening to him talking about I'm betting on myself. No. Here.
Yeah.
I ain't got
right there.
Yeah.
Right there. I'm going to be smiling at the press conference. I ain't messing with it.
Without question. Because you don't know how good the team around you is going to be. And that's going to be a reflection on him.
Push it. Look, Brock Purdy, you mentioned it, Mr. Irrelevant, even though he's not Mr. Irrelevant anymore, because he's shown that he can play in the National Football League when there was a lot of questions about whether or not he could play long-term in the National Football League. That's gone. He's giving teams fits out there. At the end of the day, they're going to get to a number. He's going to accept that number, and we won't even be having this conversation.
If they don't, does it say the 49ers may be unsure? If the 49ers, if they don't come to a deal, will it show that the 49ers...
Who hasn't...
$45 million already says they're not sure.
But who hasn't, my ex-teammate, Hall of Famer John Lynch, who hasn't he paid? They always do this. They get to the summer, and they pay him. They don't... They do
always do it. Bosa, he held out, got his money.
Got his money.
Ayuk.
Got his money.
He held out.
This is different.
Now, could it get to the point where Lynch is like, man, I'm tired of this.
No.
I'm tired of it. Like, either you going to take...
Debo got his money.
Play with Purdy.
If he was a franchise quarterback, it wouldn't have come out that they started at $45 million. That would have never come out.
That's exactly right.
Because if he's your franchise and you know it,
you're not starting
right off top, you're going to be respectful with the offer, considering what everybody else is
That's
getting.
a respectful offer.
We would be asking if they got low.
That is a respectful offer.
If it was a respectful offer, we wouldn't even know about it.
But that's a respectful offer. They going to get past 45.
His people put it out there because they know it's not a respectful offer.
They're going to try to get as much as they can. That's their job, TJ. Just like your agent. Your agent got as much. Paul, me, Rick, your agents get as much as they can.
It's respectful. It's respectful based on what they think Brock Purdy is.
And that's okay if they think he's a $50 million quarterback. Why are we acting like $50 million for a quarterback is chopped liver?
I mean, I won't even get every dollar he can get. I just don't know if the 49ers view him that way.
You do know how they view him.
Well,
based on that offer.
Yeah,
I can sure tell you what the 49ers and how the 49ers view certain people. The 49ers traded Deebo Samuel this offseason and reportedly shopping Brandon Ayuk as well. Now the San Francisco 49ers is reportedly willing to listen to offers for any and everybody on the roster from top to bottom, probably even the head coach and Kyle Shanahan. So, Rick, do the 49ers need to make major changes?
Yes, major changes. They need to make changes. Like how significant, but it feels as if this team missed its window or ran its course. It's an older team. I think those injuries come along with that. They feel a little bit stale. And part of that is because of the cost of the Trey Lance trade that took a lot of their draft capital. They haven't been able to replenish this team with young talent quite the same way that they would have if they hadn't invested all those draft picks in Trey Lance. So they're in a place now where they need to make some changes. I'm not surprised by this. In fact, I'm actually encouraged by it because it's better to recognize that you're no longer what you once were sooner than later. They are getting ahead of the curve by making these changes now.
Yeah, Paul, I don't know if they need to make major changes, TJ, Paul, Rick. I think they have to address some of the holes and some of the deficiencies that they had. They started by getting Robert Saleh. When you bring in Robert Saleh, you're trying to fix the defense. Now, let's figure out what we're going to do with Greenlaw. Let's just figure that out. Then let's figure out how do we replace Deebo Samuel. If, in fact, we try to replace him, we drafted Pearsall a year ago. That's not the same guy, though. We need to try to figure those sort of things out. We got to get a long-term deal done with Kittle. And then the draft prospects. You can build whatever you need through the draft. You don't have to go through free agency. They've done a tremendous job at drafting since they've been together, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch in San Francisco. They've done a tremendous job at drafting. So you build whatever little picks you got, you build through the draft.
What does it say to you when you make players available? What are you trying to get? What does that say to you when you say everybody on our roster is available? You're not trading player for player. You're trying to get draft picks. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, but everybody is not available, but everybody is available at the same time.
It's a matter of what can I get for him?
Yeah, I'm not trading Nick Bosa for a ham sandwich and a carton of cigarettes. It's not happening.
Right. But what I want to do, to me, this is a clear signal. We're trying to get younger. Like, we want to get back and we want to try to rebuild this team through the draft because we're old, expensive, and not quite as good as we thought we were.
The question is, do they need to make major changes? Major being the big word. You're not making a major change unless you get rid of major players.
Yes.
Trent Williams, he's not going anywhere.
Not going nowhere.
Christian McCaffrey, he's not going anywhere. George Kittle, he's not going anywhere. And there's one more guy, Fred Warner. If it ain't one of those four, it's not a major change. It's not a major change. And so, no, they're not going to make major change. Will they try to trade Ayuk? Just signing to a deal last year, that would be puzzling, but it may happen. But those four guys that I named, if you're not trying to get rid of one of those four, it's not a major change. It's just a change.
I can see them getting rid of Ayuk because they wanted to get rid of him.
I think the window's still open for him for a Super Bowl.
The window is open, but they need those players specifically on offense to play well. And I will say this. Last year, they would have been a much better team had their defense played the part had they done in previous seasons. Like with Salah there this year, they're going to be better. He's that good of a coach. They will be better.
Christian missed time. You lost Ayuk. Kittle missed time.
Deebo
missed time.
They were banged up.
We don't know what they are until we see.
Trent Williams missed time.
He missed 7 games last year.
They need to be healthy before we evaluate them.
I think
the
Hufanga
window
missed
is
time.
still open for them.
The question is when those guys come back.
Yeah, like, is McCaffrey going to be the same? He's dealing with the ankle injuries. He's a year removed from that now. So, like, let's see where he is, you know, because he opens up things for the offense. So they got to just get healthy. It's like no panic for the 49ers. Even though they lost Debo, you can find somebody else to kind of do some things in the offense that can replace him. But I don't see no major changes needed for the 49ers.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.